Lord forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown.
Oakland police say this East Oakland home has been a hotbed of drug activity for 4 years. Since 1989, officers have made 32 arrests here, 4 of them just last week.
This was what we call a crack shack.
Jim Tucker investigates complaints on crack houses.
They've been back here smoking raw cocaine. You can see the evidence of this happening here with the baggies and the double burnt matches down on the ground.
Records say he produced the drugs at his home at 255 Wellfleet and used at least 3 other houses and other people to sell them. Informants say Robinson always thought he was untouchable. His record shows otherwise. In 1984, Robinson had 2 violent felony convictions for robbery. Sources say he had a total of 8 convictions for that crime. In August 1995, a wired informant led police to a surveillance operation which busted Robinson for alleged possession to sell cocaine, heroin, and marijuana, and for possession of a firearm. That trial was supposed to begin today. Records also indicate another raid in July 1996 at Robinson's house in 2 other locations, where police confiscated cocaine, heroin, marijuana, handguns, an AK-47, and $15,000 in cash. As I mentioned, Robinson is expected here sometime later tonight. It could be a while. They talked to one of the suspects, I'm told, for 17 hours. It's been an incredibly busy day in the town of Vallejo, and our team coverage continues there with Linda Yee.
Well, Mark, Robinson is still here at the Vallejo Police Department, where police have been questioning him since he surrendered at 2:30 this afternoon. He is also here with 2 of his alleged accomplices. They too are being questioned at this hour. Altogether, police say they have 6 in custody. They think that is the entire gang. All of this, of course, was cracked when 75 agents worked together to crack this case. The breaks came fast once police traced the dynamite that exploded at the bank ATM and the Solano County Courthouse. The dynamite was traced to a construction site where police say one of the suspects once worked. Police identified him as 40-year-old Francis Ernestberg, the man investigators also believe matches the photo taken at the ATM. They arrested Ernestberg Sunday morning at 1:45 at a Vallejo residence.
Once he was in custody, it kind of rolled from there.
After his arrest, police recovered 61 sticks of dynamite from a car parked at this apartment complex. By 3:30 yesterday, the second suspect, Austin Osotonu, was arrested in a Vallejo Motel 6. His younger brother, Army Osotonu, was arrested last night at the house where police recovered 7 cases of dynamite. Kevin Robinson, the alleged mastermind, surrendered at 2:30 today. Within the last hour, police also arrested 22-year-old Jason Pasquale. He is suspected of being involved in the dynamite found at a city library 2 Saturdays ago. 31-year-old Orlando Johnson was identified by police as the owner of the car stuffed with dynamite. He is the 6th suspect arrested in this case. Investigators say the bombings were all part of a plot by Robinson.
We believe that he was trying to avoid the 3 strikes, a cocaine charge that he was going to trial on.
Police believe Ernestberg was hired by Robinson to set off the explosions. Ernestberg has a long criminal history, including burglary, forgery, and grand theft. Investigators say the Osotonu brothers knew Robinson. Austin's criminal record includes forgery and credit card fraud. Meantime, at the courthouse today, windows taken out by the blast were boarded up. Inside, it was business as usual. Returning workers were anxious.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
So what do you do to calm yourself?
Well, we're so busy.
Did you do anything special today to be extra
well,
careful?
they gave us like a debriefing and stuff. They've had several of those. So we're hanging in there.
I was very nervous, not knowing what the security situation would be like. But we have been assured by the marshals, by the security force that works here, that security has been beefed up.
Well, the courthouse has, in fact, implemented new security procedures, including 24-hour security so it's around the clock now. They've also instituted new training procedures to recognize any packages or any suspicious things that may be left around the courthouse. Police did say this afternoon they are a little concerned, even though they have recovered some 600 sticks of dynamite. There's still a little bit out there missing, and it's still dangerous.
Yeah, we back. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb ties. We on our way to Cali with it. The Bay. Vallejo to be exact. I'm gonna need the whole Vallejo in the comment box. Matter of fact, the whole Bay. Y'all tap in. Y'all know how we run it. We love it around here. Now, before we get into who we gonna be covering today, I want to talk a little bit about Vallejo. Now, the first time I heard about the city was going to be in the mid-90s, 1995, 96. And that's going to be when E40, my guy 40 would have stepped on the scene, dropped that Sprinkle Me. My guy Be Legit with him. Shout out to the whole Sick with it. Now, anybody from Vallejo before E40, y'all let me know what recognizable figures should we know? And besides that, y'all know I'm spinning blocks. Where are we as far as geographically from Oakland, from Sacramento? All my real niggas get in the comment box. Let me know. Now, let's get right into who we're going to be covering today, because this is personally a story I've been kind of hunting down or chasing for the last 2 years, because when I first heard the details from it, can't even remember if it was a subscriber that brought it to me or if I just stumbled across it doing research. But it was a tale of a guy that bombed the courthouse because he was facing a 3-strike law. And I'm like, yo, this shit is so wild. But once you go to the internet, look for it, it's kind of hard to put your hands on it. But the minute I got my hands on it, it even blew my mind even more. And I'm going to try to explain how my man got to the point to where he was. Now, without further ado, the person that we're going to be covering today is going to be a guy by the name of Kevin Lee Robinson, but better known as Big Kev in the streets of Vallejo and the Bay. Definitely a well-known figure in the city of Vallejo. Anybody from Vallejo, let y'all tap in and speak on it if y'all can. Now, the thing about this story and doing my research, it really all starts kind of in 1984. And I'm going to kind of show you guys how we looked at certain stories before. Sasha Scar, the first one I think of, where like a certain period in time of your life can kind of take hold, and that can kind of shape everything before and after. So with her, I remember it was like 3 years that I looked at, where she was involved with certain things that it was bringing on a bad pattern. Now, with Big Kev, based on my research, he was born right around 1976. So in 1997, it's going to be reported he was about 29. I seen some places say where he was 30. But in doing my research, I saw that in 1984, where he was 17 years old, he was involved in some kind of robbery, and he ended up catching a couple felonies based on that. Now, a lot of people would attribute that to coming of age, especially at the age of 17, 18, right around that time. You're just trying to find your way in the world. But it would be a little bit over 10 years later, where in 1995, he would be arrested and he would be charged with serving cocaine, marijuana. He will also be caught with a gun. Now, that charge is going to be very, very, very important, because that's going to be the one that led him to his circumstances. But fast forward, it was a charge that he was convicted of also in 1996, where he was caught with cocaine, marijuana, heroin. I want to say he was informed on by a confidential informant, or who knows, a co-defendant, one of those kind of situations. Now, the crazy thing about this story is the 1984 conviction and the 1996 conviction was already set in play before the 1995. So it looks like the case that he caught in 1995 would drag over And he would kind of be, it's like a lot of people that we know, this the streets, this the mob. We know a nigga that's out on probation or out on a bond, and he ended up catching another case, and then you end up behind the wall fighting both of those. So with this particular case, after the 1996 conviction, he was seemingly on release, but it had to be on his mind that he caught the case the year before and it was dragging on, and they're going to say that is the case that caused him to go ahead and bomb the federal courthouse building in Solano. Now, this is a huge case. They arrested 6 people and recovered almost 500 pounds of dynamite. Now, I'm not a goddamn construction worker, or I'm not damn demolishing houses, but I'm almost sure that was enough to light up the whole town. Now, they bombed an ATM, and they would bomb the courthouse. It wasn't a situation where they wanted to. Authorities are going to say that Kevin Robinson, who was, like I said, known as Big Kev, was a major Northern California narcotic supplier who also had a legitimate career as a rap producer. Now, and he was convicted, and he would end up being sentenced to 110 years. So essentially a life sentence. And that was with the numerous explosive charges that he was charged with. This is not even counting the 3 strikes you out law that they was pushing at a big time at that time. Now, a jury would end up convicting him a year later after the bomb in 1998. And it would be in September, and they would convict him of weapons and drug charges stemming from 2 raids that I spoke about in 1995 and 96 on several residences that Robinson owned in Vallejo. Now, he was accused of being the mastermind and plotting the 2 dynamite bombings that damaged the Vallejo courthouse and a Wells Fargo branch in January of 1997. Police believe that Robinson and 5 other men were trying to destroy evidence at a police locker. Now, the crazy thing about this is police would go on to say that even if the bombings did occur and he blew up the evidence marker, all his information was already pushed to go to trial. So he was going to go to trial regardless of this. So this, in a sense, kind of would show how desperate we as people, kind of, especially if you're in the streets, when you know what's going on. He probably obviously seen people that he was dealing with kind of going away on that 3 strikes you outlaw. And I remember that shit was a big thing that they was pushing. Like in the mid-90s, I can't really remember exactly who was president or who was attorney general or what was the situation behind that. But they was definitely trying to give violent offenders or people with 5 felonies or 3 felonies. They was trying to get you up out of here. And now we know some people that get them shits on that, especially here in VA, they wrap you up. You get that shit on 1 case. So yeah, anybody from Vallejo, I'm definitely going to need y'all to tap in, because I know this shit had the city going stupid. And it's crazy. I never heard of it. And anybody, my subscribers that's tuning in, did y'all ever hear of anything about this shit before today? Y'all already know what it is, man. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter. It's your boy Popalot, POP_A_LOT. Y'all hit the bell right under this video to subscribe so y'all know when this Trill Spill shit is dropping, because we coming to your city. We gonna cover them gangsters. Y'all let them know we on the way. Y'all get in the comment box below. Y'all direct message me. Y'all email me. Y'all CC me. Y'all get at me when y'all see me on the streets. And let me know who we need to cover, where we need to go, and I'll be there. It's your boy Popalot. It's the Mobb. Mobb. Ties.